I'm so happy, man. I'm gonna say that the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Y'all see them. Another episode of Cool Rob Show, y'all, live in the bullpen. I'm cooler than cool, cooler than most, cooler than the other side of the pillow. Thank you so much for tuning in and liking and commenting. I really appreciate it. It's touching my soul, y'all. So this is why I'm gonna keep pushing, keep going through with it. Like I say, man, I just love bringing a platform where everybody can come together and talk, engage and have some fun. But these guys right here, it feel like I've been knowing them for 20 years after one conversation, so I'm excited to bring them back. I'm going to introduce them in a few. Don't forget to subscribe to Movie Hood TV. Please, please, please subscribe to their channel. They're a big part of the show. Don't forget to subscribe to Cool Rob TV, all caps. Leave comments, like, dislike. We're always looking for new people to come on the show. But now let me introduce you. The boys are back in town. I'm going to go down to Hollywood. What's up, Hollywood?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How you?
All right.
How was your day today, bro?
Good.
So far, so good?
So far, so good.
All right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're in Iowa, right?
I'm sorry? Ohio.
Okay, Ohio. What's going on down in Ohio?
Not much.
I'm just curious. What's the weather down there like? Because up here it's scorching hot. We like 96 degrees in Hyattsville, Maryland, at the highest peak.
I think right now it's like in the 89, 90.
89, 90. All right, cool. Thank you for coming back, bro. I really appreciate you. I'm going down to my man, Pat. What's up, Pat?
Going on, Cool Rob?
How you doing, sir?
If I was any better, there'd be two of me.
What's going on down in Boston, right?
Yes, sir. Kind of been overcast last couple of days. We're sitting in about the low 70s here as we start to open back up a little bit.
Yeah. I take 70s. What type of shirt is that, bro? Is that NWO?
Yeah, man, just for you.
Oh, just for you. I got my NWO shirt on too, man. The band is back together.
We're for life.
For life. And what's up, Joe?
Oh, what's up, Cool Rob?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you?
All doing great.
And where you at again, Joe? One more time.
Kentucky, Murray, Kentucky.
Man. What's going on down
there? Hometown.
Big Blue Nation. What's going on down there?
Oh, doing good. Been working all morning, mowing the yard, getting everything. Just doing what I can. So just starting the weekend off.
Hey, well, thank you so much.
4th of July.
Thank all of y'all for coming back, man. I really appreciate it. I've been so excited. I've been itching to get y'all back on. Like I said, I feel like after one conversation, I know y'all for 20 years, so I'm more comfortable talking to y'all. So we're going to have some fun. All right, so again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to get started right away. Fyter Fest, day one. I know y'all seen it by now. I loved it. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised. I heard the other day that NXT beat them in the ratings. Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Before we get started, I'm gonna go around and ask you why you think it's that. I'm gonna go with Joe first.
Well, NXT beat them overall. I think they got like 790 or something like that. 790,000. But AEW keeps beating them in the key demographics. So they're like the 6th in the nation or whatever on, what is it, 10 to 49, I think is the demographic they try to hit.
Okay.
So they are beating them in that respect. And there's last week, NXT did about what they did last week. AEW last week was, I think they gained like 170 or 150,000 viewers from last week to this week. So it was a big bump. And they're counter programming over there too. So, they're doing the Great American Bash, right? I think was what NXT was doing. So they're running their little pay-per-view too because they're running theirs. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, how they're going to do Fight for the Fallen. They had to do that for Moxley to extend it again since he's not going to be able to wrestle this weekend or this week coming up. So I'm waiting to see what they're going to have, Slamboree or something. They're going to have something like that.
Yeah. It seemed like to me that the I would say Monday Night Wars, but the Wednesday Monday Night Wars is starting to begin now. Hollywood, what you think? Why you think NXT beat out AEW?
I would guess just WWE's got a better following. They've been around longer. AEW is still a new company.
Okay.
And now the whole like new company part has kind of starting to wear off a little bit.
Okay. I can see what you're talking about. I see where you're going right there. What about you, Pat? What you think?
I think it's a couple of things. I think it's, like I said, kind of the shine is wearing off, a little bit. To me, I think that one of the criticisms I have is that AEW tends to sort of cater to their hardcore fans, or whatever, which is fine, but you're never gonna get more viewers on a mainstream level by doing that. So I think maybe that's starting to shine in a little bit, and obviously WWE has had bigger names on that show. I mean, like, if you looked at like the quarterlies, like they gained a bunch of viewers for that Sasha Banks Io Shirai match. So I think it's a combination of things.
Well, good stuff there, y'all. Even after hearing y'all say what y'all say, I still would have thought that AEW would have beat them out, especially because it was like pay-per-view versus pay-per-view event. Yeah, then, Fyter Fest, I mean, I was jacked up for it, so I thought that, I was shocked when I heard the ratings. But, hey, you know what? We're going to move on. We're going to see next Wednesday what we got in store. So I thought I got something I thought would be real fun since we back together again. So the last time that we talked, I also want to tell you guys that the first video is complete. Right after this, I'm going to send y'all the first cut copy so y'all can see it before we release it to the public. So we definitely got that going on. So this is our second show, y'all. But so we're going to go over it. You already gave y'all predictions the last time, and day one is complete. So now we're going to go back, talk about the matches, but we're going to give them stars, 1 to 5. So I'm going to give you a match. You rate it, and you tell me why. All right, so here we go in order. First match, MJF Warlord versus Jurassic Express. Joe, how many stars you give it?
2.5 stars.
Okay, tell me why.
It's about what you expect. It didn't really necessarily end I give it the other half. I mean, it was about a normal match, a mediocre match as far as what you'd expect for it. It didn't, just jump out at me. But they did somewhat continue with the Wardlow MJF turn that's going to be coming up because he missed with the ring there. So they did. I liked, it wasn't bad or anything. It just seemed like it was just another setup match for something on down the line maybe. But they definitely, Jurassic Express needed the win, I think. It was good.
2 stars. What about you, Hollywood? What you give it? How many stars you give it?
3.5 for 2 spots specifically. 1, the whole running off the back of Lucha and Wardlow into the Hurricanrana move that Jungle Boy did. The Canadian Destroyer off of Lujo and Wardlow, and then where Wardlow did the Hurricanrana, and then it went into the Luchasaurus head spike Hurricanrana. That's why I give it 3. Those 2 spots right there were just amazing.
And Pat, take it away. Pat, how many stars?
I'm kind of in the middle. I gave it like 3 stars. A few things. It seemed like Wardlow kind of overshot that senton bomb a little bit. And it seemed like Luchasaurus maybe fell a little short when he went for the flip over the top rope. I like the story. I like the action. Jungle Boy always seems to bring it. So I like that, and I like the development in the stories. But I could do without Marco Stunt always running around getting involved in things. It reminds me of this book I used to read as a kid. It was Curious George. It was the guy who had like this pet monkey who was always getting into trouble. I think that's Marco Stunt. He's the monkey always getting into trouble.
You know what? Going into this conversation, I was gonna give it a strong 4. After looking at it, I thought this was a nice action-packed match to kind of start the show. I love the Warlord versus Luchasaurus kind of thing. They look like they're building that up. And I was really impressed with Warlord, period, after the match. I could definitely see him becoming a main eventer at some point down the line. But, maybe it's me, and that's why we all got our opinions. So I actually gave it a 4. So yeah, that's what I 4 stars. That's what I rate. Moving on to match 2, AEW Women's Championship. Hikaru. Is it Rashida? Did I get it right?
Sheeta, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Versus
I just call her Sheeta because I don't know how to say her first name.
Yeah.
And against Penelope Ford. I'm gonna go with Pat. How many stars, Pat?
You know, only because this match kind of really exceeded my expectation. I didn't expect much out of Penelope Ford, to be honest. I'm not that familiar with her work, but she put on a good match. She put on a hell of a match. I was going to give it 3.5 stars.
Good
I
stuff,
love
right?
Sheeta.
Good stuff right there. Where we at, Joe? How many stars you give it?
I'm giving it 3.5 as well. That's what I was going to give it. It's a good match. Penelope Ford, she's really good. She does a lot of mixed in the indies. Before this, I've seen her do mixed man, woman tag teams. They did one on they did with AEW. It was Kenny Omega and the first champion. Can't remember her name right off the head. What's her name?
Riho.
There you go, Riho. That's it. Guys couldn't remember it. Anyway, yeah, Riho, and then it was Penelope Ford and Kip. They had a mixed one. It was pretty good, but she's done a lot of stuff like that with so she did a great match. I didn't think they were going to let Penelope Ford win, but I think they really gave her an opportunity to showcase that she really can go, and she really can go with men or women. I've seen her in some really decent matches.
Good stuff right there. What about Hollywood? Take it away. How many stars?
Crazy enough, same stars, 3.5. That was a great match. That was definitely one of the better women's matches I've seen come out of AEW.
Mm-hmm.
The spot where Penelope did the back bend to avoid the drop kick was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Great match.
Yeah, I definitely gave it a 3 myself. I came away impressed. At first, I was kind of going to skip through this match and then pick back up when it went off, but I actually looked at it, and I was really impressed with Penelope Ford. I don't know. I came away impressed with her skill set. As you can see in the background, y'all, as we talk about these matches, I have them up on the monitor as well. So it was a nice action-packed match. So I definitely gave it 3 stars. And I could see Penelope Ford as well being the women's champion at some point down the line. All right, moving on to match 3. And this is one right here where you guys know that I'm definitely took a real liking into. Jake Hager, AEW TNT Championship. Jake Hager versus Cody. Definitely interested to know how many stars you gave these fellas. So I'm going to go with Hollywood. How many stars you gave this match?
2, man. I don't think Jake Hager looked good. Sorry, man.
Okay, cool. Anything else, or that's it?
I mean, in my opinion, it was Cody did what he could, but Jake Hager's needs some help wrestling.
Pat, what about you, Pat? How many stars you get this match?
I only gave it 2.5, and I'll tell you why. I didn't love the finish. I didn't like it at all. Like it took me a minute to realize who had actually won or who didn't win. And then can there be like one Cody match where there's not like interference or some kind of, outside altercation going on? I was waiting for him to bleed, but that didn't happen. So we gotta give him some kudos for mixing it up a little bit. But this was not my favorite match.
Joe, what about you, Joe?
I gave it 3 stars. I mean, I liked the match. I thought he did decent enough. I mean, it's a Cody match, so they're not going to be spots just after spot after spot. But I like the finish because I knew they weren't – I didn't think they were going to let Hager win, but I don't know. And all the monsters got pinned last night too. Hager got pinned, and then Wardlow got pinned. So I don't know about Cage anymore. It seems like they've got a history of burying the biggest monster guys they got. So I don't know, but yeah, I give it 3. I thought it was pretty good, and I liked at the end when he hit the official, and they tried to keep him strong, I guess, because they let it be that little ending there with the confusion or whatever. So yeah, I give it 3. I thought it was all right.
So I definitely gave it 3 stars. I'm definitely going to go straight to what Pat said. I hate the finish. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. I thought Hager won, then I'm looking up like what's going on. I was, once again, like I said on our last show, they built Hager up as this enforcer, unstoppable force. And now in 2 big matches, he lost the first one in Empty Arena versus Moxley. And now Cody, even though he didn't pin him straight up 1, 2, 3, he still technically lost. So it's like you're taking some of his swagger away as enforcer. So I just didn't understand that one. Definitely was looking for him to win, but he didn't win. All right, moving on to match 4, fellas. Match 4, and that was Proud and Powerful. Proud and Powerful versus Private Party with Matt Hardy in their corner. Hollywood, how many stars?
Another 2.5, man. I don't think Private Party looked good. I don't think Private Party had a lot of botches in that match that I noticed.
Pat, what about you, Pat?
I only gave it 2, and I'm gonna sort of pile on. It was sloppy. Tough night for the Inner Circle, but in a larger way, like I don't think Matt Hardy is really adding anything to this product at this point.
Agreed.
Joe, take it away, Joe.
Say it.
I gave this one a 3. I thought it was pretty good. Now I would have, if they could have just been clean with it. Now, because I was actually at a match where it was the Lucha Bros and the Proud and Powerful when they were LAX, the second or whatever. And those guys are very, very phenomenal. And you can tell that Private Party was holding them back a little. And Private Party's good, but they're very green. That you can tell they're young. They just haven't quite got they want to do bigger spots than they necessarily have got skills for sometimes. And I just hope they don't get hurt doing it. I mean, they've got to win. They're booking them strong. They beat the Young Bucks now. I did not think they were going to be Proud and Powerful. As far as the booking, they're booking them really strong. So they're trying to make stars out of them. But I thought it was a good match. But
you got a title shot.
It definitely could have been a great match if they could have really went with. I thought that Private Party was going to be able to keep up with the Proud and Powerful, but I don't think they could. I didn't think they could. So I'm just giving it a 3 because it was pretty good, and
Well, initially I put 2.5, but I understand 2.5 is not a number, so I'm gonna say 2 as well. Just even looking back at the video and the replay, to me, Proud and Powerful should have won this match. It looked like they was more an aggressor. They looked like they were clicking with their moves. This match just seemed a little bit off to me, and then also I just didn't see the role of Matt Hardy. What is he playing? He was just out there for nothing, to be honest with you. So I only gave it a 2. I wasn't really impressed with this match. Honestly, the women's match was better than this one. This is my opinion. See, the guys agree. So I definitely. So we could have did away with this match, or they could have put 2 other people out there if they wanted to. But again, Proud and Powerful should have won. But hey, so we're gonna move on to the last and final match of the night. Tag Team Championship, Kenny Omega, Adam Page versus Best Friends. And Joe, take us away with how many stars you give this match and why.
This is the Best Friends and Kenny, the title?
Yes, titles.
3, 2.5. I'll give it 3 because you can't go 2.5, I guess. It was, I guess 3. It was good, but the finish was. I mean, I wanted them to win. Obviously, I wanted Best Friends to win because I'm from Murray, where he's from. But I like that they keep booking Hangman so strong, but just to put them away like with one hand, one man putting them away. I'm just like, I know if y'all aren't going to let them win, then you don't necessarily have to just put them away necessarily like that. Make them take 2 people to something. But I don't know. I would definitely want it to be 2.5 stars, but 3, I guess, because it was a good match. The match was really good. I loved the entrance where they got out the minivan with his mom. me and my girlfriend, everybody in the house is rolling about that, and it comes back to get the kiss. Classic.
Hollywood, how many stars? Thank you so much, Joe.
I would have to agree with Joe. I would give it a 4 up until the finish.
Yeah.
Which makes me bring it back down to a 3 because it should have been a tag team finish. Hangman should not have won that on his own. And the Best Friends, hand down best entrance I've seen in a long time. Just saying.
Good stuff right there, Hollywood. What about you, Pat? How many stars you give it?
I was torn between 2 and 3, and I'm gonna give it 3. But there's something to me. Kenny Omega doesn't click with me. I don't get it. I don't get the gestures and the weird faces and all that. It's just something that doesn't click with him. For me, he's a great athlete and he's a good in-ring worker, but I think that I just don't like the presentation, I guess, of him. And again, I would have given it a higher rating, but I didn't like the finish. But I did like FTR sitting there having a few beers during the match. I definitely enjoyed that. And then there was a whole schmaz at the end. Like, I was kind of flipping back and forth between this and the Sasha Banks match, and then I see the Young Bucks are in the ring, and I kind of missed something that happened in the middle there.
They tried to offer them a beer, and Kenny Omega poured it out. FTR tried to offer them a beer, and Kenny Omega poured it out. And, yeah.
I'm sure Hangman Page took one.
Oh, Hangman Page was drinking it. Yeah, he was the one that ended up on FTR's side.
Take Kenny's beer there.
He definitely took one. But Hollywood, I thought Omega took a sip, and then he poured it out.
He pretended to. Watch. He pretends to. And now he just pours it right back out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think he's like an ex-alcoholic. I think he's like he don't ever
he's
drink.
He's straight edge.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know if he used to drink but he don't drink no more. Like, they make a thing about it.
Well, fellas, I gave it. Well, coming into this conversation, I was gonna give it a 4, but actually, I dropped it down to 3. As I thought about it, I mean, it was a good match. I definitely would have put this one at the end to finish the actual card, but now that I look back on it, wasn't too much action packed that I thought it would be. And Omega, Pat, I agree with you. It just seems like he's lost in his role, whatever they're trying to do with him. I actually honestly think that he should turn into a bad guy. Maybe that's me. I think Kenny Omega, I think we'll see a side of him that people have never seen before if he decided to turn into a bad guy.
Do you happen to know anything about the cleaner in New Japan when he was the cleaner?
I don't. Tell me about it.
He was the leader of the Bullet Club. He's a great bad guy.
I need to look that up. So the group name was the Cleaner?
Yes, the Cleaner, Kenny Omega.
Okay,
I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with a lot of the New Japan stuff. I know he was the Cleaner over there. I just haven't seen a lot of that stuff.
Good stuff right there, Hollywood. I'm definitely going to check that out. So I'm going to look that up. Thank y'all so much, fellas, for that. I thought that would be fun. We rated each match. So I now have a couple of questions that I got right after I said when we finished talking about the matches. So now that Fyter Fest is over, day 1, I'm going to go with Hollywood. Who would you like to see now challenge for the TNT Championship?
Wait, who did I say last time? MJF? I'll probably stick with MJF.
Okay.
I still want to see MJF take on Cody. I don't know why. I just want to see it again.
Okay, cool. I'm going down to Pat. Pat, who do you think is going to
I'm gonna change my answer from last week. I'm gonna go with a guy we haven't really seen much of lately, Darby Allin. Him and Cody have good matches. I think they have good chemistry, and I think there's a little bit of story left there because Darby he gets close, he just can't seem to put Cody away, and I think it would be a good story and for him and a big win for him to really put him on the map. So I'm going to say Darby Allin.
That's a good one right there. What about you, Joe? Who would you like to see challenge for the AEW TNT Championship?
Well, I'm going on that they can bring people from other, organizations and whatever into it. Because on this one, they had Brian Pillman Jr.'s. Brian Pillman's son was actually in the crowd. So I'm hoping that they're going to, because he could, because they let the Starks, right, Ricky Starks, he come in and wrestled, and then he got a contract. And I think they're going to do something with the Brian Pillman Jr. and Cody, because I hope they will let him come, because that guy's a good worker. He's under contract somewhere else, but a lot of the MLW guys come over. Like MJF used to work for the place while they were doing AEW, and Andy was going to MLW. So they already got a working relationship. So I'm hoping they're going to let Brian Pillman Jr. come in and have the next shot at the TNT title.
Good stuff right there, fellas. Moving on. Let me ask you this. So my answer, assuming that Freshly Squeezed beats the champion, I definitely want to see the Freshly Squeezed challenge for the AEW TNT Championship, though.
And again, thank you, AEW, for putting Chris Jericho back on commentary.
Oh, yeah, that
He had
was
me
something you guys
cracking
know was
up.
going to happen.
Oh, I love it. And I put this down, but man, I love Jericho behind the mic. But what can you say about Freshie Squeeze? He comes on out, he sits down, he puts his leg up, he don't say a word, and he walks off.
That's all he's got to do. That's all he's got to do to upset him.
Driving him nuts.
He was getting so mad.
Assuming that Adam Page and Omega beats Private Party next Wednesday, who would you like to see challenge next? Be the next challenges for the AEW Tag Team Championship. Go with Joe.
I don't know between the Young Bucks and FTR, but I guess I'll go with the Young Bucks. Well, no, I'll go with FTR because I haven't had the match yet. We'll do FTR versus them next.
Hollywood, what about you?
I would go with FTR. I think they're the best choice to actually take the titles off of them because the Young Bucks and them are Kenny Omega are still the elite. So I wouldn't think they would give it to the Young Bucks. So I think FTR would be the best choice.
Pat, what about you, Pat?
Let's make it a clean sweep. I'm going to go with FTR. I think FTR beats them for the belts, and then that really just adds some higher stakes for their feud with the Young Bucks.
So basically what I'm hearing, you think they're going to go with FTR first and then set up a match between FTR and Young Bucks. So it's not going to be FTR beats Young Bucks to get to Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Okay,
right.
Cool. I like that. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to make it a clean sweep. FTR. I'll be honest with you, fellas, even when they was in WWE, that was one of those teams that I didn't even pay attention to. So I didn't even know nothing about them in WWE. I just recently started learning about them when they went to AEW. I like their swagger, though. I think it's going to be a good matchup if they put them two against Page and Omega. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right, so here we go. Another question. I thought this would be a good one. Is Warlord a main eventer? Hollywood, go.
Not yet, only because he's MJF's bodyguard. So until they separate him from MJF, I don't think he can really be a main eventer.
Pat, what about you, Pat?
I don't think he is yet. I think he will be at some point. One, because he's still with MJF, and two, he's still young and green's not the right word, but he just doesn't have a lot of that. Like we've only seen him in a handful of matches on Dynamite and through Fyter Fest, so I think they need to establish him a little bit more. And I think the separating him and MJF will definitely do that, and I think that'll be a big money match when it happens.
Joe, is Warlord a main eventer?
Future main eventer, mainly because public. Like when we went to Nashville and they came to AEW, came to Nashville, only time they have, and Wardlow was like in the crowd, sitting like just a couple seats away, and nobody even knew. Like, you know, he doesn't have the public enough to be in the main event to where, you know, you're going to want him to carry a title because don't nobody know him, you know, compared to John Moxley or Jericho or even Schwag, you know, all these other guys that have more of a public name. They need to build him up to where people actually know who he is, and they keep they keep burying him. He keeps getting pinned, so he's gonna have to do something. He's got to win a match before he can be a main eventer.
I came away liking Warlord even more after that match with him and MJF versus Luchasaurus, Jurassic Express. Very agile. I like him. I like the way he moves in the ring. So I came away thinking that if they build him up just a little bit more, I can see him down the line, maybe becoming a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Not too many big men can do a hurricanrana. That's all I'm saying.
I want him and Brian Cage in the future once they get them all to build that matchup because they're both big and they can both do that stuff.
Be a great match.
That'd be a great match right there. Good stuff, Joe. Let me ask you this. I'm starting with Pat. Do you like the current ranking system in AEW?
It's an interesting concept, but I just don't think I don't think it really means a lot right now because there's like this is the example I always use. Brody Lee comes in, he beats he wins 4 squash matches, and then he's got a title shot. MJF's like undefeated for like a year and a half, and he hasn't gotten a shot at it. So I think they need to, if they're going to do it, you have to put the emphasis on it, make it mean something. Give me a reason to care about it.
Hollywood, what about you? Take it away. Like
Totally agree with him. I think it's a cool concept, but they definitely have not utilized it correctly. They need to, if they're going to use it, they need to put more focus on, okay, this is who's next up for the title, since just like Pat said.
Joe, you like the ranking system?
I like it, but it doesn't mean much. It loses it. And now that there's 2 different like the TNT title and stuff, like that's even they're going to have to redo it now. There's 2 titles because it messes. You don't even know. They need to have the one for the one or one for the other or something like that. But, just having one, and then you're like, well, he's 5th place. Does that mean he gets the lower belt, or does the 2nd place get? They got to redo something with all these belts.
You guys are very convincing because I came in loving the ranking system. I thought it was something cool. When before the matches start, they show them records. But like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards, I guess it really don't mean anything.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, it was a great idea. I loved it when they first came up with it and were, put it out there. And then I was like, okay, that's going to be cool. And then they just haven't used it.
Okay, next question. Should AEW add one more belt? Maybe like a light cruiserweight belt, or, back in the day it used to be WCW champion, US, what they call it, the US champion.
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
And then they had the actual kind of lightweight team.
Belt.
Yeah.
The cruiserweight belt too.
Cruiserweight belt, yeah. So you think they should?
Title. They had a couple in there.
TV title, that's what it was.
Title, yeah. TV title,
that's what it was.
US championship, and then it was the WCW championship. So I was just thinking, like, you think they should add one more? Because it's a lot of talent, and there's not that many belts to go around. So do you think they should add one more, or they should just leave it how it is, Pat?
I wouldn't mind the way they have like a lot of groups and stuff like that, like a lot of factions. So I wouldn't mind having like a trios kind of title, like a 6-man tag titles. That's a way to get, more people on the show, to add a new title. And, I think that would be, in my opinion, that would be better than having like another singles title.
What about you, Joe?
I think if they were going to, I don't know if they necessarily need to at this point in time, but if they were going to, I would want to see something that would be like a dark title or something to maybe promote their show on the, something like that. So maybe every not necessarily, maybe even the main event, but not necessarily, because so much tag team wrestling. Lots of times that the main event's going to be tag team, but at least kind of like they do with the TNT title now with Cody. Just kind of an open challenge where the undercarders can fight for like a dark belt or something like that.
I love that idea. Hollywood, what you think?
Actually, crazy enough, I agree with both of them. If they're going to do a title, it either needs to be a trios or a dark.
I definitely like that concept of having a dark belt, which leads to my next question. What athlete on dark right now would you want to see get a push to the main roster? I'm going with Pat.
Sonny Kiss.
Sonny Kiss. What about you,
someone I'm not terribly familiar with, but I saw him in The Bad Boy last week, and I was intrigued. There's some interesting character dynamics there.
What about you, Hollywood?
Weirdly, Peter Avalon. See that man get pushed. He's got a bigger personality than they've showed yet.
Cool. Joe, take us away, Joe. Who would you like to see?
I like the Griff Garrison, the Jungle Boy lookalike. I think they need to, if they're gonna eventually put them up against each other. I mean, he's good at too. He's really good. There's a lot of those people that are just coming in that are really good, but I think, and he's got a look to him. There's another one, I can't remember his name. He's got a smile. I can't remember that one's name of the undercard guys, but I think they're gonna end up pushing the Greek. I think he'll come up and maybe end up being something.
Hollywood, I'm gonna agree with you. That was my answer.
Librarian.
Yeah, I definitely love him. Would like to see him one day possibly get a push. The last question, is it me or do it look like Inner Circle days are coming to an end? The breakup is nearing. Pat, the Inner Circle is breaking up?
It's certainly starting to look that way, the way that they keep losing. I think, I mean, you can't have them keep losing and really kind of keep them together. They'll sort of start to lose their name value. But I think if they're going to do it, they'll do it slowly. But I think eventually they have to.
Hollywood, what you think? Is it over?
Yeah, I think it is. I really think with the loss of Sammy G and all the losses that they've been suffering, like I just think it's Inner Circle's time.
Joe, take us away.
Yeah, their push is gone, and we'll see whenever Jericho loses to Orange Cassidy, and then after that they will have lost every. I think they lost every single thing that they were in this Fyter Fest. So
far they've lost every match.
So they lose that one, and it's a sweep. So that ain't a good sign. But yeah, and then they've pushed. Darby Allin looked huge with them, you know, and I don't necessarily know if it was going to happen, but I do think they're going to have the Sex Gods come back out of it, like when Sammy comes back, maybe I don't know, and then Jericho. And I think they may put them back together in the future because they were really doing good together, I thought.
I'm going to do a clean sweep, fellas. I think that the writing's on the wall at the beginning and the end is near for the Inner Circle. But I was shocked, though. I mean, Jericho was sitting at the commentary table. I thought he was going to interfere in the Hager match. Didn't do that. He didn't come out and help Proud and Powerful. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
I'm with you there, man. You guys are bad guys, man. Interfere. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it, y'all. I love it. Thank y'all so much for that, man. And so this next part, I know you already predicted the day 2 matches. So I thought we could have some fun and just throw a bold prediction out there. Something bold that, may not happen, but it's something that you can think of for each match. So I'm just gonna name a match and you guys give me one bold prediction. All right, so Young Bucks FTR versus Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade. Joe, give me one bold prediction for this match.
The Blade and the Butcher turn on the Lucha Bros.
Okay, cool. I love it. What about you, Hollywood? Bold prediction.
All right. The Butcher and the Blade team win because the Young Bucks turn on FTR.
I love it. Pat, what you think, Pat?
I'm gonna go with either FTR does a high spot, or the Butcher and either the Butcher or the Blade get the pin for their team.
Man, they have T-shirts that say no high spots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not holding my breath.
My bold prediction was the Butcher and the Blade somehow, some way come out with the win. All right. Colt Cabana, Dark Order versus SCU. Bold prediction, Hollywood.
I mean, I already kind of said it last time. Colt Cabana is going to turn on the Dark Order.
Okay. What about you, Pat?
I'm going to say Colt Cabana joins the Dark Order only to turn on them later.
Yep.
Joe, what about you, Joe?
I think Colt Cabana is going to end up joining the Dark Order. I think that's my bold prediction.
I got something sweet for y'all. Here's my bold prediction. Christopher Daniel turns on SCU.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Nice.
That is a good one.
I like that.
Yeah,
that'd be cool to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
I forgot about the whole Christopher Daniels joining the Dark Order storyline.
Yeah, so we'll better way to spice it up by him joining the actual Dark Order. All right, Lance Archer versus Joey Janela. Bold prediction, Pat.
Joey Janela wins.
Okay. What about you, Joe?
Joey Janela doesn't go through a table.
Oof. That's really bold.
Hollywood.
You know what? I'm going to go with Pat. Joey Janela wins. That's the biggest. It's going to be a big upset. Murder Hawk goes down.
My bold prediction: Jake the Snake interferes. Referee gets distracted. Jake the Snake interferes and DDTs Joe Janela. Lance Archer pins him for the 1, 2, 3. All right, Private Party versus Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Joe, take us away. What's your bold prediction?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. There's a match, is it? Private Party and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, Private Party won a chance at the titles.
It added this match to
that's
Wednesday.
going to be what they replaced. Okay.
Yeah,
Private Party champions.
What about you, Hollywood?
I don't know. The best one I can come up with is Kenny finally, or Hangman turns on Kenny. Reverse.
Pat, what about you, Pat?
The only other thing is Kenny turning on Hangman.
Someone's turning on someone.
Running out of choices here.
Yeah, and so I was gonna say the same thing. Omega finally turns into the bad guy.
Ooh, the cleaner comes back. I'd love to see that.
Maybe they're going to use Private Party as the transition champions. They didn't turn last time, but I didn't know that. I guess that match is we didn't make no predictions on that match. So I guess they just got up because of the Moxley thing.
Yeah,
I think that's the replacement match.
Oh yeah, Private Party's winning, and then they're going to use them to pass the titles on. They beat it. They keep pushing them. Maybe I don't know. Let's
go Private Party.
All right, the Le Champion freshly squeezed matchup. A little bit of the bubbly. Give me a bold prediction, Pat.
Orange Cassidy wins with some failed interference from the inner circle that helps kind of accelerate their breakup.
I love it. Hollywood, take us away.
Best friends interfere, but somehow Trent's mom's the reason Orange Cassidy wins.
I love it. I love it. Joe, what about you, Joe?
Orange Cassidy's gonna try his best the whole time.
What?
That's bold.
No hands in the pocket?
No, he's coming out like fire and going the whole time.
All right, my bold prediction: Hager comes down the ring. Hager interferes. Hager knocks Jericho out. Freshly squeezed pins him 1, 2, 3. All right, and so this was the shocker to everybody because we were definitely looking forward to this one. The Brian Cage versus Moxie matchup, which actually now has been postponed to another week. So we had to wait till
2 weeks from now, yeah.
2 weeks from now to see that one. So before we go bold predictions, anybody have anything to say about that? Is this strictly because of the COVID situation? What was going on with that, Hollywood?
His wife has COVID. Renee Young has COVID, or tested positive for COVID-19. So,
Pat?
Yeah, so he has to. So I think they were taping it they taped it this week, right? Mm-hmm. Or they are taping it this week, and he has to do a 2-week self-quarantine. I don't think he tested positive, but he's still quarantining.
Right.
Yeah. It's just because his wife did.
Take us away, Joe.
Oh yeah, he got cleared. From what I understand, they were gonna let him do it, but he's just personally like wanting to not do it just in case because the tests aren't always positive. You know, like the woman Renee, she tested negative, and then she did her own home test and tested positive. So he's he don't really know. He's kind of wondering the validity of the test. He ain't trying to take no chances.
I thought I saw some news that came out the other day that said that Renee said that she's fine now that she recovered from it. Did y'all see that? Okay, cool.
I haven't seen anything, but still, it's a 2-week self-quarantine just to be safe for him, basically.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody, what y'all think about the Taz taking a shot at WWE?
I was wondering if you're going to bring that up. That was hilarious.
So yeah, let's talk about it, Hollywood. What you think about that?
Oh, that was hilarious. I knew Taz being who Taz is, I was wondering who was going to take the shot at WWE during the show, and it was Taz.
What you think, Hollywood? Sorry, what you think, Pat?
I liked it. Taz was one of my favorites back in the day. I liked it, but it was kind of weird. And then like this, I don't know if you guys saw the story, how it came out that they weren't testing the people that were the AEW people that were like in the upper bowl or whatever. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't like how they're making it a divisive issue one way or the other. Like, this is not like a wrestling issue per se. It's, it's a public health issue. I try to stay out of it, but
Good stuff right there. And Joe, what about you, Joe?
I thought it was in bad taste just because of the situation. And then they've got people before, like they had people out there no mask. I know they're testing, but, on top of each other. I know they're wrestling, but the people in the crowd aren't wrestling. And they've got a whole stadium, and they've got to have every wrestler on top of each other. So they're not – I mean, that's not the tightest ship they could run either. Maybe this isn't a sloppy shot, but it's pretty dirty. Like he says, there's people that aren't even getting tested, just doing a temperature test in the upper bowl. I mean, they never get in contact with the people that are tested, but still, they could be giving each other, they can get each other sick still. They get, you're not wanting to promote that. Get your 60 highest sponsoring people for the Jacksonville Jaguars and get them all sick. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why anybody needs any crowds right now. I don't understand it, but, they're doing it, so I don't know.
So initially when I was watching, so I fell asleep on the actual event, and I ended up watching it the next morning when I was at work. And so and I still missed it. I didn't know that he took a shot at WWE until I actually caught up on some news that I always check out online. I said, "Oh, he took a shot." Then I went back and looked at it. So I liked it. I was like, like I said, this Monday night, Wednesday night wars officially begin, and it's off and running, y'all. Which leads us to our last question. Bold prediction: in 2 weeks, Brian Cage versus John Moxie for the AEW World Championship. Pat, take us away. Give us your bold prediction.
Taz goes old school and busts out one of those old Taz plexes from ECW onto John Moxley.
Hollywood, what about you?
Would love to see that, by the way. But I think I don't know. I guess my boldest prediction is just what I predicted, that Brian Cage is going to win.
Joe, what about you? Bold prediction.
Taz is going to superplex or Tazplex the John Moxley, and then Cage gets the win.
God, I hope that happens.
Bold prediction. This is the boldest out of all the boldest predictions. The Le Champion walks down the ramp, helps John Moxley get the win.
Get a title shot out of it.
Interesting.
Fellas, man, hey, I want y'all to know, man, I had so much fun. Like I said, I want to talk with y'all every day if I could. I was sitting here thinking, though, we don't always have to just do AEW. I know you guys know about WWE. We can do WWE segment too, if y'all down with that.
Yeah, I mean.
Down with that.
Okay, cool. So for the next one, I'm definitely going to switch it up. Just know that some WWE questions are coming. I may want to throw in some Impact questions just to switch it up a little bit, and I may even throw in, is it still an NWA, that other organization?
Yeah, NWA, yeah.
So we don't just, I'm just letting you guys know, I don't strictly have to be AEW. I know there's a lot going on in WWE too.
NWA still taping? They've always had the closed set thing, so I just figured I haven't kept up with the Power or whatever.
I don't think they have.
I don't think they have been. As far as I know, I haven't seen NWA in a couple of minutes.
I know Impact's still going. MLW, they're not going. So I think the Impact and those are the only three, right, in America that are even operating, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because WWE just bought Evolve, so.
Right, well, yeah. That
one's gone.
So just let you guys know, definitely next time when we link back up again, it's going to be a different format. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. So I'm just getting y'all ready for that. I love the shirt, brother, NWO. When you're NWO, you are NWO for life. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I enjoy this, fellas. So I always ask this question once again, when you guys come back again?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And like I said, we get to know each other, so it's going to get funner and funner and better every time. Thank y'all so much for everybody that's going to tune in to see this video. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you, fellas, for coming back. Don't forget to subscribe to Cool Rob TV, all caps. Leave comments. Tell us what you think about the show. We're always looking for new guests to appear. Definitely subscribe to Movie Hood TV. They're a big part of the success of the show. So please go show them some love. But this part right here, the show I always love, it's called Last Words, and you guys knocked it out the park the last time. So when y'all see it, y'all definitely gonna see what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go with Joe. Joe, any last words?
Plant flowers for your native pollinators.
Hollywood, any last words?
Wear a face mask, and if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Pat, take us away, Pat. Any last words?
Everyone stay safe. And if you're going to watch one wrestling match this week, Sasha Banks versus Io Shirai killed it.
I'm definitely going to look at that too because I didn't see that, Pat. Thank you so much for that. No matter what you do, if you laugh and you cry, that's a hell of a day. Whatever you're doing out here, never give up, never give up, never give up. Fellas, one more question before we end it off, right? I wanted to ask y'all this. I should have asked this before we started. If we was the clique, right? If we was in wrestling right now and we had our own group, who would we look like the most? 4 Horsemen, DX, or NWO? Hollywood, take us away.
I'm going to have to go with the 4 Horsemen.
Okay. So question for you, and you can answer when next time we get back together. Who will we be in the 4 Horsemen? So that's your question for you. Joe,
all right.
Who will we look like?
I can see NWO. Like the little older NWO, not the 2000 NWO.
So you got to tell us what characters we'll be for that next time we get back together. And Pat, who you going with, Pat?
I'm gonna go NWO Wolfpack.
All right. So definitely, I want to know who I'm going to be in the Wolfpack, and I'm gonna go NWO Black and White, and I'm gonna give y'all my answers to what characters we'll play. Thank y'all so much again for coming through. I really appreciate y'all. I'm definitely looking forward to the next time we get together. For my boy Pat, Hollywood, and Joe, I'm Cool Rob. Over and out.